Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Shabbat Shalom to those of you who are joining us through streaming. If you're with us in person, we are in the red book. If you are joining us online, there is a link on our Happy website to Sidur Lav Shalem, the online version, and you can follow along there. We'll begin with Maya Fet Hayom. How beautiful is this Shabbat day?
So the lyrics are Maya Fet Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. That's it?
Forward.
I think it's not in there.
Nah, just forward stuff. Maya Fet Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Maya Fet Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Maya Fet Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Maya Fet Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Thanks for the blessing of our souls return to us to start each day with a fresh beginning, and for our bodies the gift of being awake and alive, page 99. Elohai neshama shenatani tehorahi. Elohai neshama shenatani tehorahi. Ata verata, ata yitzarka, ata nefaka bi. Ata mishamra bekirbi. Elohai neshama shenatata bi tehorahi. Elohai neshama shenatata bi tehorahi. Ata atid Ilani meni v'haksila bilati lavo. Ozman shan shama v'kirbi modani lefanecha. Adonai Elohai Elohei Avotai ve'imotai v'on kol ha'ma'asim adon kol ha'nishamot. Elohai Shamash Shenatata Rahi. Elohai Shamash Shenatata Rahi. Adonai Machazir Nishamot Vivgarim Veitim. Baruch atah Adonai, our God, sovereign of time and space, who crafted the human body with wisdom, creating within it many passages and openings. It is known and revealed to you that should even a single passageway called rupture or a single opening close up, it would no longer be possible to exist and stand before you. Baruch atah Adonai, healer of all flesh, who creates wondrously. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan l'sech b'bina l'hatkin ben yom u'ben layla. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Shasani B'Tzalmos. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Shasani ben Chorim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Shasani Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Hokeach Ivrim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Ma'al Yisharim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Ma'ashir Asurim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Zokech Kefutim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Rokah haaretz al hamayim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Lefi mitzadei gamer. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Sha'asa lekol tzorki. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Ozer Yisrael b'Torah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Ozer Yisrael b'Torah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Anoten layarech haolam. Day and every day may you look upon us, and may all who see us look upon us with eyes filled with kindness, love, and compassion, and toward us with kindly love. Baruch atah Adonai, Gomel Chasadim Tovim Le'amo Yisrael. Page 107. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher kidshanu mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah. May you make the words of your Torah sweet in our mouths and in the mouths of the house of Israel, your people, so that we are children and all the children of the house of Israel may come to know your name and study Torah for its own sake. Baruch atah Adonai melamed Torah li'amo Yisrael. Baruch 107. These are the deeds that yield immediate fruit and continue to yield fruit in time to come. Honoring parents, performing acts, deeds of kindness and love, attending the house of study morning and evening, providing hospitality, visiting the sick, helping the needy bride, attending the dead, probing the meaning of prayer, making peace between one person and another, and between loving partners. Talmud Torah Keneged Kulam. And the study of Torah is the most basic of them all. Baruch Shamar v'haya ha'olam baruchu. Baruch Shamar v'haya ha'olam baruchu. Baruch Oseh Bereshit. Baruch Omer Yosef. Baruch Ozer Ukayim. Baruch Merachem al ha'aretz. Baruch Merachem al ha'briot. Baruch Shamar v'haya ha'olam baruchu. Baruch Shamar v'haya ha'olam baruchu. Baruch Shalom Sachar Tov. Shalom Sachar Tov L'Re'ah. Baruch Shalom Nekayam U'Lanetzach Baruch Bodeu Matzil, Baruch Shemo, Baruch Shamar V'Hayaolam. Baruchu, Baruch Shamar V'Hayaolam. Baruchu. Sing to the one who is life to the world, sovereign, praise and glorified forever and ever. This is your great name. Baruch atah Adonai, melech mechulal b'tishbato. Nesmor shir leyom HaShabbat, tov lehodot la'Adonai, u'lezamer l'shimcha elyon, u'lezamer l'shimcha elyon, ve'hagid b'boker chashecha, ve'emunat lecha b'leilot, alei asur v'alei nabel, alei higayon v'chinor. Mizmor shir leyom HaShabbat, tov lehodot la'Adonai, u'lezamer l'shimcha elyon, u'lezamer l'shimcha elyon. Tzivacheni Adonai b'kol echad, ma'aseh yadecha araden, ma'gadu ma'asecha Adonai, ve'oram kumach shevotecha. Mizmor shir leyom HaShabbat, tov lehodot la'Adonai, u'lezamer l'shimcha elyon, u'lezamer l'shimcha elyon. Yishma l'oznai. Tzadik Amar Yifrach Eretz V'Amanon Yizkar Sheturim B'Beit Adonai B'Chatzrot Eloheinu Yedumum B'Se'eva B'Shenim B'Rananim Yehiyu Hagid Yashar Adonai Tzuri Tzuri Belo Avotam. Ashrei page 136. Ashrei Yoshvei Beitecha, Od Yalucha Selah.
Ashrei
Hilal David, Aronim Chaloi HaMelech, Baruch Shimcha Leolam Vahed. Gadol Alem Leolam Ve'od, V'Gulato Ein Chaker. Ahadar Kavod Hodacha, Divrei Niflotacha Asicha. Zaharabtu Kayabiyu, Tzidkat Chayiranenu. Ovanai Lakol, Rachamav Al Kol Ma'asav. Yevod Malchut Chayim Beru, Yevurat Chayim Beru. Malchutcha Malchut Kol Amin, Umemshaltecha Bechol Dor Vador. Nechol Elacha Yisaberu, Atan Noten Lahem Bedoklan Beito. Tzadik Adonai B'chol Rachav, V'chasid B'chol Ma'asav. V'tzon Yerev Ya'aseh, V'et Shabbatam Yishma V'yoshiyim. Yilad Adonai Yedaber Piv, Yevarech Bo B'sar Shem Kodesh Le'olam Va'ed. V'anachnu nevarech Yah, Me'at Yad Olam. Hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Page 141. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. And the God show. Hallelujah, Yahweh. Hallelujah, 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 take our shofar. Hallelujah, never let me know. Hallelujah, 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 Baruch Adonai Le'olam, Amen, Amen. Page 145. Nishma Tochai, Tevarach et Shimcha, Adonai Elokeinu, Beruach Kol Basar, Tefer Teromem Zichrecha Malkeinu Tamid, Min Haolam Ba'ad Olam Ata El, Umi Ba'aladecha, En Lanu Melech U'el Moshe Podeh U'Matzil, V'Nes Merachim V'Cholei Tzara V'Tzukah, En Lanu Melech Ela Ata. For our mouths filled with song as the sea, our lips to offer limitless praise like the sky, our tongues to sing endlessly like countless waves, our eyes to shine like the sun and the moon, our arms to spread heavenward like eagle's wings, and our feet swift as deer. We would still be unable to fully express our gratitude to you, Adonai, our God and God of our ancestors, for to praise your name for even one of the myriad moments of kindness with which you have blessed our ancestors and us. Dimitra and Beltano, and all of you been a deep and Itanu. From each of you redeemed us, Adonai, our God, from the house of bondage you liberated us. Okay, now Miriam should be like Kavan. Who compares to you, great, mighty, awe-inspiring, transcendent God, to whom heaven and earth belong? We praise, acclaim, and honor you, and bless your sacred name, fulfilling these words. Baruch Nafshi et Adonai, v'chol krovai et Shem Hashem. 147. God, in the fullness of your power, great and above your glorious name, mighty in all time, awesome in your awe-inspiring deeds, sovereign, enthroned on high. Shochein ad marom, v'kadosh shemo. We'll provide what up pages. Shirkin Kobat, Lursun Mufandaf, and I will put in you. Although Allah Shabbat, the air, the remember, there, the breath, and love, bless the Holy Rishur of Tish Prachot, David, and Yishai Lecha, V'Shichacha, 148. Yeshabach Shimcha, Ve'ad Malkeinu. Baruch Adonai Haviad Olam, Baruch Atah Adonai, El Melech Gadol B'Tishbachot, El Hoda'ot Adon HaNiflot, Avocher B'Zura, Melech Elchei HaOlamim. Yitgadal Yitgadash Shemei Rabba. Amali Rakir Divyam Lich Malchutei, B'chayim Omu Yom Echom, B'chayim D'chol Beit Yisrael, B'yagalam, B'yisman Karib, B'yamaru Arim, Heishnei Rabban et Mora, B'yolam Or B'yom Bayah, Yisrael. Yet Barak Vishabak, Barak Imam Nasari, the Darita, the False Medusha, Beritu, Taylami Kobir Fatah, Shirata, Tushakata, Nerata, Tabi Ramyama, the Emeru Army. Rise, people from our food, page 149. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai lai lai. Baruch Adonai Hamevorach Le'olam Va'ed Hamevorach Le'olam Va'ed. 150. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech olam, Yotzer or borech hoshat hosei shalom, uborei et hadol. Praise are you, sovereign time and space, forming light and creating darkness, bringing harmony while creating all. And Erica Hamid Angel Atach, I was built to Hamid Umido Melach. And Erica Hamid Zev Angel Achamokin Ramaba. And built the Chagol Mashiach, the Angel Melacha, Moshiach, the Techiach Hamitim. Page 151. El Adon Hasim, Baruch Borach, Befiko Shema, Malek Olam. Tuna Asobelino, Mami Kael, Chayot HaKodesh, Nedar Bekavod, Alam Bekavan, Zechut Mishor, Lifnei Chiso, Hazen Berachim, Lifnei Kevodo, Tovi Morel, Shabara Eloheinu, Yitzoram B'Dahat, B'Bina Uvaskel, Koach Natan Bahem, Biyam Moshe, Bekerateva, Malayin Zir, Ulafikin Toga, Nael Ziman, Bechol Haolam, Slechim Betzetam, Besazim Betova, Osi Be'eman, Besom Totam, Erev No Mishma, Zohar, Rinal, Zachor, Mafuto, Arash, Mesh, Vayish, Rakor, Raham, Yitzorah, Amana, Shabbat, No Milo, Potzavam, Maron, Tiferet, Ugedula, Shravilo, Vanim, Bechayot, HaKodesh. All in love and pure, mighty in reverence and awe, carry out the will of the one who has dominion over them. In purity and holiness they raise their voices in song and chant, to praise, bless, glorify, extol, hallow, and celebrate the name of God, the mighty, great, awe-inspiring sovereign, the Holy One. And Shema El-Melech HaGadol 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 Kadosh Hu. K'lam Mekavim Aleim Moshe Omar Zed Reshut Zeh like Bishlu Shabbat Ruach. There's no fire running on the Dushat. K'lam Keharonim Komrim Be'yirah. Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzebaot, Elohim Haaretz Tzivoro. Ofanim B'chayot HaKodesh, K'razim Zimulat Shrafim, U'mecham Shakfim Ve'omrim, Baruch Kevod Adonai, Nimkomo. Kadesh B'Chagol Kadesh B'Chagol Nase Bereshit Or Chadash Al Zion Ta'ir Or Chadash Al Zion Ta'ir V'nizkeh Kulanu Mehera Le'oro Baruch 154. You have loved us deeply, Adonai, our God, and showered us with boundless compassion. Avinu Malkeinu, for the sake of our ancestors who trusted in you and to whom you taught the laws of life. So may you be gracious to us and instruct us, and creator of compassion for us, in our hearts that we may understand and with love, discern, hear, and study, observe, perform, and fulfill all the teachings of your Torah with love. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu Yisrael, v'ya'avah.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Elohim, Adonai You shall love the Lord your God with all your might, with all your strength, with all your being. Set these words which I command you this day upon your heart. Teach them faithfully to your children. Speak of them in your home and on your way. When you lie down, when you rise up, remind them as a sign of shine on the doorposts of your house, and on your gates.
The Alpha and Omega, the whole of Asher Elohim Tzavachah, Hayom Ha'avavecha, Veshinatah U'manecha, Ve'yivartah, Veshitacha Ve'etacha, U'lachtecha Ha'aderech, U'shavlecha U'tumecha, U'tzarcha Me'olam Yadecha, V'hayu L'tovavo Ve'yinecha, U'tavcha, Ha'adshavlecha, U'visharecha. Ani Adonai Elohechem, Asher Oseidiatem Me'eretz Mitzrayim, V'yolachem Lahim. Ani Adonai Elohechem, Our God, you redeemed us from Egypt and freed us from the house of bondage. Eloleo Yom Baruchu Mevorach, Moshe Miriam B'nei Israel, L'chanu Shira B'simcha Rabah, V'amru Kulam. Mi Kamocha Ba'el Adonai, Mi Kamocha Ne'gar Kodesh, Nora Yilon, Osei V'Elem, Nora Yilon, Osei V'Elem, Shira Hadashan, Shilafu Gedulim, Leshim Pasachatayam, Yahadulam, Odurim Lechu, Ve'amru, Adonai Imlod, Adonai Imlod, Le'olam Va'ed. Zor Yisrael, Kuma Be'ezrat Yisrael, Ufnechinu Mecha Yehuda Ve'Yisrael, Go Aleinu Adonai Sebaot Shemo, Gedosh Yisrael, Baruch Adonai, Da'al Yisrael. We rise at table, page 159. Adonai sefatayticha ufiya kiteni vatecha Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Eloheinu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzhak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Elohei Ve'kolei makol, ve'zocher hasher v'imahot, ve'gidol v'neihem, l'man shemo v'yamavan, na'u'zerem Baruch atah Adonai, Magid Avraham u'Yitzhak. Adhagi Orle'elav Adonai, V'chayim Yikim Atarav L'Hoshia. Shiva Ruach Morid HaGashem Mechalkel Hayim Be'eretz Mechayim Meitim Be'rachamim Rabim Somen Noflim Be'rofet Olim U'matir Asurim U'mekayim Emunato Mishenei Afar Mikamo Mekadesh Shimcha Ba'olam Yeshem Shemak Bishimo Dobish Memaro Pakatu Vayad Beviaka Vekara Zeh Ve'amar Kadosh 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 Adonai Zebaot Melech Haaretz Korash Gadol Admir V'Chazak Mashmi'im Kol B'Nasim U'Matzrafim U'Motam Baruch Yomeru Baruch Yevod Adonai Mintom Chamal Kenu Tufir V'Timloch Aleinu Imetakim Hanachnu Lach Matai Timloch V'Tzion V'Karab Yemenu Le'olam Ba'et Tishkon Titkadav V'Titkadash V'Tov Yerushalayim Yercha V'Dor V'Dor V'Netzach Netzachim V'Nenu Terana Malchutecha Kadavar HaMor V'Shivei Uzecha Al Yedei David Mashiach Tzitecha Yemloch Adonai Le'olam Elohai Tzion Le'dor v'ador, Hallelujah. Le'dor v'ador negigon lacha, u'lenetzach netzachim v'dushatcha nakdish, v'shifrecha l'einu mikvinu lo yamush le'olam v'ahed. Yom melech gadol v'kadosh ata, Baruch atah Adonai, ha'elel ha'chayon. Nismat Koshevan Adhoto given a man karata lo, prepared Hiroshon that Halavan Lukanet Sinai, Shnei Luchot Avanim Horid Biyado, V'chatu Bahem Shmirat Shabbat, V'chein Katu B'Torah Techad, Shamru 162. Continue on our own, page 165, the Hebrew, the English, for your own heart's prayers and
I don't have extras. Let's see what he's got up here. I'm going to take a quick second to announce, because we don't do announcements anymore. December 17th, potluck lunch after services. Bring your crafts, bring your board games. It's the shortest Shabbat of the year. So some people may want to stick around till 1 hour, which will be like 5:30. So, you folks want to stay with them? Yes.
Send your reaction to Rob, distributes for the reading the Torah scroll. And read 167. Yikedash Shemei Rabbah, Yamad Record Yam Yishmal Chute, B'chayechon Yumechon, B'chayechon Yisrael, B'agalav Zman Karid V'yamru, Amen. Yehei Shnei Rabbah Nevorah, Ve'yom Ve'yamayah, Yishmael, Barak Shabbat, Baruch Shemani Neseh, V'tadari Kalav Yal Shemei Kudsha, V'yechu. Lami Kober Kata, Shirata, Vishbechata, Nechemata, Amiran Biomabim, Ruamin. Ikabosa Honda Kwesha Kadama, Lodi Vishmaya, Bimru, Amin. Ishalom Rabban, Ikabosa Honda Kwesha Kadama, Lodi Vishmaya, Bimru, Amin. Ishalom Rabban, Kumaim, Ayla Lemio Israel, Bimru, Amin. Osei Shalom Bimru, Yaseh Shalom, Alenu V'Kol Yisrael, Kol Yoshvei Tevel, V'Yimeru, Amen. 168. Ein kamocha v'Elohim Adonai, v'ein k'ma'asecha, malchutecha malchut kol olamim, u'memshaltecha b'chol dor v'dor. Adonai Melech, Adonai Malach, Adonai Yimloch Le'olam Va'ed, Adonai Oziel Mo'item, Adonai Yevarech et Mamod V'Shalom. Avarachamim, Eitiv Avirtzon Ha'et Zion, Tivnei Chomot Yerushalayim, Tivnei Chomot Yerushalayim, Imecha levatatu, Melech Olam v'Nisa, Adon Olamim. Volunteers, we want to carry the Torah? We'll walk for it. Vayim so Aaron, Vayomer Moshe, Kuma Adonai, V'yafutzu Oivecha, V'yanuzu B'tzanecha, V'panecha, V'yitzion, Tetzei Torah, V'yitzion, Tetzei Torah, Udvar Adonai, V'Yerushalayim, Baruch Shematan, Torah, Torah, Baruch Shematan, Torah, Torah, Le'lo Yisrael, Page 171. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonai, Kadosh Shema.
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonai, Kadosh Shema.
Adon Adonai iti Roma Shema Yachad. Le'echad Adonai Hagedula Tiferet Ve'anetzach Ve'achon. Yehovah Hashamayim U'Haaretz, Yehovah Hashamayim U'Haaretz. Romanu, Romanu, Adonai Eloheinu, Beishakavu, Beishakavu, Lahanu Ragav Kadoshu, Romanu, Romanu, Adonai Eloheinu, Beishakavu, Beishakavu, Lehar Kachom, Tikadosh Adonai Eloheinu, Al Shosha Devarim, Al Shosha Devarim, Al Shosha Devarim, Haolam Omeid, Al Shosha Devarim, Al Shosha Devarim, Al Shosha Devarim, Haolam Omeid, Al Torah ve'Al Avodah ve'Al Gemilut Hasadim, Al Torah ve'Al Avodah ve'Al Gemilut Hasadim. Thank you. I'm impressed. Good to see you.
Because there was more expectation.
That's the mystery. Everybody always wants to know, like, what's the rabbi got in the jar?
And what's in the stuff that the rabbi stuff?
It's just plain old Jewish book. Nothing more to say. So, our Torah portion this morning, the name of the portion is Toldot, which means generations, and it does indeed involve the turn of generations. We shift from the relatively short amount we get about Isaac, his life, and the focus, Isaac's still around, but the focus is going to shift to the next generation, which is to say that of Jacob and Esau. Their story is well known. They are twins. They struggle, as our portion will tell us at the very opening. They're wrestling with one another before they're even born. They're struggling with one another in the womb. And Esau is born first. So he's the older of the two twins. But Jacob, comes out holding on to his heel. Esau is hairy, so he gets, Esau is the equivalent of hairy. And Jacob is holding on to the heel, which is where he gets his name Yaakov, which is connected to the word for heel, a kid. So we see this rivalry that plays out, and it continues over the course of the portion. First, Jacob persuades Esau to sell him his birthright. We don't know exactly what that is, for a bowl of lentil soup. And at the end of the portion, we have Jacob working together with his mother, Rebekah, to get the blessing that Isaac, at least partly, intends for Esau. Not clear whether Isaac is really fooled in this scenario, but that's a whole different question. Last thing in this rivalry is that we're also told at the very beginning that Jacob loved Esau because he put game in his mouth. Esau was a hunter. And then we're told that Rebekah loved Jacob, and no reason given. So perhaps she loves him unconditionally. At any rate, this week's portion is a good good model for how not to raise your children. My teacher had on Grifco, my Torah teacher, always said there are no families in Genesis that you would aspire for your family to be like. It starts with one brother killing the other, right? It's not a very optimistic picture of family life. And this family is very divided and struggles dearly. We get some reconciliation at the very, very end of the book. That's still a ways off. So I'm going to be reading from the beginning of the portion. If you are here in person with us, these books, Eitz Chaim, the Chumash, you can follow along in the Hebrew and with the English translation as well. It starts on page 146. And if you are following along online and you don't have access to this particular book, any Torah text will work. The portion starts with Genesis chapter 25 with verse 19. Lee and Gail, you guys want to come up together? Come on.
You're in the Shabat Morning.
Shabat Morning.
Holy Devorah,
Holy Devorah Herschel.
Baruch Adonai Hamorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamorach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol ha'anim. V'natan lanu et Torto. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah. Amen.
Amen. Melech Toldot Yitzchak and Abraham. Abraham Kuli et Yitzchak. Yitzchak ben 40 shana v'chachto et Rivka bat Betuel Harami Kanaan Ram Tachot Laban Harami lo l'ishta Vetar Yitzchak l'Adonai l'nochach ishto ki akara hi Vetar lo Adonai l'kar Rivka ishto Yirotzatzu habanim b'kirba v'tomer im kein lamazeh anochi Vatelech lidrosh et Adonai.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher natan lanu Torah emet. V'chayei olam naka b'tocheinu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen. Sandy? Lord, Sandy. Shabat
Baruch Adonai Hamarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bakar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et torto. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Amen. Vayomer Adonai lacha shnei goyim b'minech u'shnei lumim b'mi'ayich yiparenu u'la'od mila'od mi'amatz v'rab yavod sa'ir v'imlu yamech halalet v'nei lumim b'minach v'yitzei harishon aploni u'lo ka'aderet se'ar ויקראו שמו עשיו, ואחרי כן יצא אחיו, בידו חזק וכלב עשיו, ויקרא שמו יעקב, ויצחק בן 60 שנה, ולדת אותם.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tokenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Sandy, she's doing double duty. We're gonna put you now right on the guitar.
Jesse's.
For Misha Vera, and Jesse's gonna help out. So I invite anyone who has names of people who you are holding in your hearts and your prayers for healing at this time, feel free to speak them.
Pastor Sorensen and Teresa.
Yours for.
Oh, maybe here's David Martinez.
Right beside him. Don Smiga.
So there it is, and for all who are holding in our hearts a prayer for healing, it's on page 173, back in your Siddur on the margin.
May the source of strength, who has so much before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, bless those in need of healing with the Ruach Shema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
stay. I'm going to invite the rest of your family to join me. John? Yes, you come on up. Yamdu,
Yishai ben Yamin, Hardcore,
Yishai ben Yamin, Hardcore, get over and go ahead.
I'm Jonathan Mordecai.
Ben
And
the
work
word,
it all better well.
Yona Mordecai ben the word, get over well. We are picking up with verse 27.
Baruch Adonai Hambarak,
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hambarak Le'olam Va'ed, Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher b'karvanu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato, Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. Amen. Vayigdalu Hanaharim Vayehi Esav Ish Yodea Sa'id Ish Sadeh V'Yaakov Ish Tam Yoshev Ohalim V'Ahav Yitzchak Et Esav Yitzayim Lefiv V'Rivka Ohevet Et Yaakov Vayazeh Yaakov Nazir Esav Vayavo Esav Min HaSadeh V'hu Ayev Vayomer Esav El Yaakov Halikeini na min ha'adom hazeh Yayev Anochi Al Ken Karash Mo Edom Vayomer Yaakov Mifrach Hayom Et B'choratcha Vi Vayomer Esav Hinei Anochi Holech Lamut V'lama Zeli B'chorah Vayomer Yaakov Hishavali Hayom Hishavalo Vayimkor Et B'chorato L'Yaakov V'Yaakov Natan Esav Lachem Unazid Adashim Vayochel Vayesh Vayaakov Vayelech Vayelech Esav Et HaBechorah.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tokenu, Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. God. This is a section of the verse I just concluded with. It's unusual, really, in all of Torah. There is a sequence of very short and very sharp verbs. Five verbs with nothing else in between them. And literally, after Jacob gives Esau to eat, after selling him for the birthright, it says, he ate, he drank, he rose, he left, he spurned his birthright. So it's an interesting impression of time. The rabbis see it as a kind of window into Esau's character, that he's impetuous. this, that he can't think beyond the moment that he's in. He just is physical and he's impetuous, and maybe to a fault the other way. Jacob is always plotting, right? So you've got, somehow there's a lot of room for in between, and Jacob's task in a way is going to be a little more like Esau, and being in the moment, but also to be able to think through and to figure out the implications of things with some planning and some foresight. Back in the Siddur. Page 172, and Mishaberach for all of them called up today. Mishaberach Avotim Abraham Yitzhak Yaakov V'Yimotinu Sarah Kara Kabbalah. Yivarech Ekol Ela Shalu Ayom Yichvod HaMakom Yichvod HaTorah Yichvod HaShabbat. HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yishmor Otam V'Kol Mishpachotehem Yishlach Bracha V'Tzachah V'Kol B'Tzei Yedehem V'Achehem V'Achiotehem V'Nomar Amen. May the one who blessed our ancestors Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah. Bless all who have ascended this morning to honor God, the Torah, and the Shabbat. May the blessed Holy One protect them and their families, bringing blessing and success to all the works of their hands, together with our people everywhere. And let us say, Amen. 174. Yetida Shemei Rabba. Yamlik Malchutei B'Chayim Yom Echol V'Vayeka Kovei Yisrael B'Gala U'Bizman Kariv V'Yemeru Amen. Yeshei Rabban Torah Ve'alam Ma'yomaya Yetara Hiparat Vishavat Arutman Nastarita Tarvita Halal Shemei V'Shat Se'evan Kovir Chashav Shiratan Tushachat V'Nechemata Tahamiran Yavad V'Yemeru Amen. On the left this morning. Fran, want to help for us? Rise as able. Okay. Ready, smile. Okay. And knees. Around. Bezod Torah Asher Samusha L'nei Yisrael Yadonai V'yad Moshe Eitz Ani Rachazika V'tom HaMerusha Eitz Ani Rachazika V'tom HaMerusha What stroke are we doing?
On the right.
That's your cross. Please. So the Haftarah, the reading from the prophets, begins a process that I will say I'm not fond of. I always am a little bit of an apologist for Esau, because I think he gets kind of a raw deal. It's true he may not be the right person to carry on the covenant, but in the Haftarah, the prophet Malachi says, God declares, Esau is Jacob's brother. I have accepted Jacob, and I have rejected, or really the word is hated. I've hated Esau. And there's nothing in the Torah text that suggests that God hates Esau. Just the opposite. And we'll talk a little more about Esau getting a kind of blessing. But what we see happening here is that by the time of Malachi, Edom, which is roughly Jordan, when you look at from Israel looking into the red hills, the name comes from Edom as red. And that's one of the names that Esau gets because he wants the red lentil stuff. So Esau ceases to be kind of an individual, and it becomes a trope, an example of a whole people who are enemies to the Israelites. This becomes even more so with the rabbis, so that when you read about Esau in rabbinic texts, Esau is kind of the epitome of evil. Because when the rabbis talk about Esau, Esau or Edom is code for Rome. So every time you see the rabbis talking about Esau as an individual, they're really talking in coded language about the Roman Empire, the oppressive Roman Empire that they're living under. So I understand the need for that, for speaking code when you're living under Rome. But I always do like to think that Esau is an individual. Esau is the character in the Torah text. It's not nearly so black and white, so all out evil as the later tradition would have him be. So that's a lens through which we might understand this Haftarah portion in Malachi. It seems to paint him in a very, very dark light. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar b'nbiim tovim, v'ratzah b'divrei ha'nemarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai, habocher b'torah v'moshevo, u'b'Yisrael amo, u'b'nbiei ha'emet v'tzedek. On page 163 in the Chumash, Malachi, Malachi chapter 1. Masadavar Adonai El Yisrael B'yad Malachi. I have shown you love, said the Lord, but you ask, how have you shown us love? After all, declares the Lord, Esau is Jacob's brother, and I have accepted Jacob and rejected Esau. I have made his hills a desolation, his territory a home for beasts of the desert. Itomar Edom, Rushashnu, Menashu, Menivneh, Farot, Amar Adonai Tzavaot, Hema Yivnu, Bani Eros, Bekaru Lahem Gevul Rishah, Baham Asher Adonai Adolam. Einechem tirena, batem tom meru, yigal Adonai, ve'al rivu Yisrael, ve'en yidaber aved Adonai, b'ma bani, ayet elodi, b'ma roni mani, ayet morai, Amar Adonai Tzvaot Lachem HaKohanim Ozei Shani Amartem Amer Vazinu Et Shemecha Negishim Al Mizbechi Lechem Nigoal Amartem Bamet Ye'alunu Chana Amarchem Shulchan Adonai Nizahu Itagishun Iver Yiskolach Ein Ra V'chitagishu Yisech V'cholev Ein Ra Yuveuna Lepetacha Hayirzecha O Hayisaf Anecha Amar Adonai Tzvaot V'ata Alona Peneam V'yechalenu V'yechem Hayikazot Hayisam Miken Fanim Amar Adonai Tzvaot Mi Gam Bachem B'Yisor Dolatayim V'lo Tahiru Mizbechi Chinam En Li Chefetz Bachem Amar Adonai Tzvaot Mincha Lo Erzach L'Erzah Miyadechem Ki Mizrachem Neshad Mevo Gadol Shemi Bagoyim Shabu Mekom Gubachom Mekom Mutar Mugash Lishmi Mincha Torah Ki Gadol Shemi Bagoyim Amar Adonai Tzvaot Ve'atem Mechalalim Oto Emerchem Shulchan Adonai Migoahu V'nivo Yizeh Achalu Ha'ochlo V'amartem Hinei Matla'ah V'hivachtem Oto Amar Adonai Tzvaot Evitem Gazur At Abiseach Ve'et HaCholeh Havitem Et Amincha Erzeota Yehem Amar Adonai Barur Nochel Ve'yesh Dro Zachar Benudeh Zoveh Mashkat Adonai Ki Melech Adonai Amar Adonai Tzvaot Kulu Shemi Nora Vagoyim Bata Lechem Mipazot HaKohanim Imlo Ishvu Imlo Asimu Halev Latet Kevod Ishvi Amar Adonai Tzvaot Shilachti Lachem Et HaMe'era V'aruti Et B'choretichem V'gam Arotiha Ki Inechem Samim Alev Ineni Goer Lachem Et Hazera V'deretin Peresh Al Penechem Peresh Agichem V'nasa Etchem Elav Know then I have sent this charge to you, that my covenant with Lady may endure, said the Lord of hosts. I had with him a covenant of life and well-being, which I gave him, and reverence which he showed me, for he stood in awe of my name. Proper rulings were in his mouth, and nothing perverse was on his lips. He served me with complete loyalty, held the many back from iniquity. For the lips of a priest guard knowledge, and men seek rulings from his mouth. For he is a messenger of the Lord of hosts. Yishivtei Kohen, Yishmudat, V'Torah Yivashu Mihu, Ki Malach Adonai Tzvaotu. Baruch Atah Adonai Melech Olam Tzorkol V'Mim Tzadik V'Kol HaTorah. Ha'elanem Ha'oger V'Samavim V'Im Sh'Kodorah V'Nefat Tzadek. Neman Adonai Elohim V'Namani V'Barecha V'Devar Echad V'Barecha Kol Yeshuv Rekam Gamel Naman Rachmanaka, Baruch Ata Adonai, Va'el Naman B'chol Dvarav, Rachem Atzil B'Beneinu, V'Nefesh Ushir B'Mirav Yameinu, Baruch Ata Adonai, Samech Tzion B'Manecha, Sam Keinu Adonai L'Hem B'Neviah, Elel Neviah, Dach HaMalchut B'Tavidah, Shekachas, B'Merayah Bo B'Yagel Yameinu, Al Kisolo Yeshev Zar, Lo Yicholo Nacharivis, the Vodo, Kibishan Kachanish, Pata Lo Shalom, Kifani Rode Olam Va'ed, Baruch Ata Adonai, Magin David, Ala Torah, Avodah, Olavim, Hayom HaShabbat Hazeh, Shenatata Lanu Adonai, Einu B'Yishalim, Lekavod U'Letifaret, Ala Kol Adonai Eloheinu Natu Modim Pat, Rahim Pat, Yiparashim Kabefiko Kai Hanim Leolam Va'ed, Baruch Ata Adonai, Mekadesh Hashem. Returning the Torah scroll to the ark, we rise as able, page 183. Hallelujah, Shem Adonai, King Skad, Shemo Lavado, Hodo Aleres, Shamayim, Vayarem, Keren Le'amo, Ve'ila Le'tol, Hasidah, B'nei Yisrael, Am Jerobo, Hallelujah, Hallelujah, Mizmor David, Avu Ladonai B'nei, Avu Ladonai Kvod Shamo, Avu Ladonai Kvod Shamo, Vishtakavu Ladonai Mikrat Kodesh, Ol Adonai Not Kodesh, Adonai Rabim, Ol Adonai V'Kol Ol Adonai G'Adai, Ol Adonai Shomer, Ishamer Adonai Adar Ve'Halanot, Vayarkidet Mo'egalut Tzion Mo'egalut, Ol Adonai Kotzem Ba'Hodesh, Ol Adonai Yachil Midbar, Yachil Adonai Midbar Kadesh, Ol Adonai Yekol Hayavod, Soker Akoel Lo Merkavod, Adonai Lamalu Yasha, Yeshev Adonai Melech Leolam, Adonai Oz Le'amo Yitein, Adonai Yevarach et Amo B'Shalom. Oh Yomar, Yilach Tov Natati Lachem, Torati Al Ta'azovu, Etzayim Di L'Ma'asim Shimah, Ve'Yom Le'Ne'am, Me'usha, Ve'Ra'Ve'Ma, Darkei Noam, Ve'Om Tivotech, Shalom, Ashirenu Adonai, Elech HaVenashua, Kadesh, Kadesh Yameinu, Kadesh Yameinu, You. So we're fast forwarding for discussion purposes here to the end of the portion. Not quite the very end, but very close to the very end. So this is where, to set the scene, Jacob has gotten the blessing that Isaac is intending for Esau. Again, his mother has been really the conspirator, the one who really put this in motion. And one thing that we know about Rebekah is that we don't know that Isaac knows. At the very beginning of the portion, she is told by God that the older will serve the younger. You don't know if she told Jacob, if she told Jacob this. You don't know if she told her husband this. But she's got this vested interest in Isaac being fooled and Jacob getting the blessing. So Jacob gets the blessing. Whether Isaac is fooled is another question. But he gives the blessing to Jacob, and Esau then shows up for the blessing that he expects to get. So this is the first passage with Esau. And so Isaac tells Esau, your brother's already, I've given the blessing away. Your brother got the blessing. When Esau heard his father's words, he burst into wild and bitter sobbing and said to his father, bless me too, father. But he answered, your brother came with guile and took away your blessing. Esau said, was he then named Jacob that he might supplant me these 2 times? First he took away my birthright, and now he's taken away my blessing. And he added, have you not reserved the blessing for me? Isaac answered, saying to Esau, but I have made him master over you. I have given him all his brothers for servants, and sustained him with grain and wine. What then can I still do for you, my son? And Esau said to his father, have you but one blessing, father? Bless me too, father. And Esau wept aloud. My heart just breaks for Esau here. It's such a sad scene. And this notion that, the notion that there's like only one blessing to go around.
Yeah, that's why it was.
It's so sad. And it's the root of so much violence and destruction and tragedy. It's just, this one is like a knife to the heart, this line. So on that theme, I've chosen a couple contemporary passages of commentary on this that speak to what feels like heart. So we want to read the first one, Andrew Jack and Brian.
This Thanksgiving week's Torah portion, full goat, begins with the birth of Jacob and Esau, continues with the tale of jealousy between brothers, and ends with the deception of Isaac by Jacob. It contains the destructive themes of competition and jealousy between siblings, favoritism by parents, and deception among family members. Such wonderful timing with Thanksgiving this week, as many must spend the holidays with our extended family.
We can sit around and think, well, we don't have it so bad.
The jealousy between Jacob and Esau may have started out as a normal sibling rivalry, but it was greatly exacerbated by parental favoritism shown by Isaac for Esau and Rebekah for Jacob. Imagine if instead of showing favoritism and encouraging competition, Isaac and Rebekah had shown the twins that their contrasting personalities could complement each other. Imagine if they had been taught to work together for common goals they may have had instead of in opposition to one another. There didn't need to be a scarcity or perceived scarcity of blessing. Why should the firstborn automatically inherit all power, privilege? The twins were taught there was only one blessing available. Imagine if the blessing stolen by Jacob from Esau had no limit. What if a blessing was available for each and both sons who wanted one? And Rebekah and Isaac had taught the twins that they would each always be given what they each uniquely needed. The parental response to Esau's question should have been an unequivocal, no, I do not have but one blessing. I have endless blessings to give, as many as I need.
And I'm going to have you read this passage from Mary Kushner's book. This is one of my favorite contemporary passages ever.
Is this not the most fundamental human challenge? Learn that it is, to learn that it is good for you when other people love other people beside you. That I get more when others give to others. That if I hoard it, I lose it. And if I give it away, it's out.
All right, so, thoughts?
Well, as the black sheep of my original family, I've been blessed with a second family that's very loving. So things do turn around. And Esau does get a family. He gets children and wife
Right.
and sheep and goats.
So maybe I'll ask you, since you volunteered the black sheep piece and things, you found a family, you found a family where you got what you needed. It sounds like. Is there still pain that you carry from the?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Mhm. Sometimes we do get what we need in other places, but we still carry the trauma of the scar.
Yeah, so my wife is the oldest of 3 kids, and the youngest is significantly younger than the older 2. And so he was an only child in middle school and high school, and Mari has always kind of had some resentment for how he was treated as this only child when she and her brother had it so much harder. Now we have an only child at home.
Uh-huh.
And on Thanksgiving, she said, having this only child at home now, I see, she has some sympathy for her parents and kind of some understanding. And I think sometimes that understanding of what we went through as kids, we don't get until we are parents with children and can kind of look back and maybe forgive our parents for things that they did, because now we're in a similar situation and can understand what we couldn't understand before.
Hmm. Others? Yeah. Well,
Right here, he says, I have made him master over you.
Right.
Okay.
in the blessing that he gave
I made master over you. How can you apply that into today's terms? How would you apply it today?
I think it's an example by way of being a kind of negative example. The tension is like, okay, Jacob is the one through whom the Jewish people come, right? So you can kind of, it's understandable why Torah favors him, because he's who we come from, right? We are house of Jacob, and Jacob's other name later is Israel, right? He is us. It's just that, but to think that the mistake, I think, is that to think for us to be special, somebody else has to be less special, right? Why can't we be special in our way and they're special in their way? But the notice of we're lifted up by somebody else being down just seems the root of so much evil. I don't know. Janet, Debbie, Fran.
I just think it's a really interesting question that you asked. And I think it's upon all of us to look and see, where do we see this in our families?
Uh-huh.
I think in so many, all over the world, every day, in our own families, our own Thanksgiving tables, we see examples of hierarchies, of examples of one person being privileged over another in different ways, of one person being given to and the other not. And it seems like a great struggle still for us to abandon those kinds of ways of seeing each other and to see each other with more acceptance and grace. And I appreciate what Cantor Brian said about giving each person what they need. And it's something that we forget to do in families. So
And beyond families and workplaces, I'm on every scale, right? This is really hard. And I'm just thinking about what Janet just said about each what they need, right? Which is, I think as a parent and, again, as a boss, whatever you're setting, treating people equally doesn't necessarily mean giving each person the same thing, right? Because people need different things. And it's easy to perceive, this is on the receiving side. On the giving side, one can put one over the other, as we see here. There can also be misperceptions on the receiving side, right? That person got more than me of this, and therefore you love them more, right? I always said to my kids growing up, like, okay, I love you equally always, but you don't always need me the same amount. It evens out over time. It's not even exactly at any given moment necessarily in terms of my time anyway, right? And different people need different things. It's a complicated equation that can get skewed on the receiving side as well as on the giving side. Yeah. Right?
I'm going back to the quote, because I'm troubled by this. And that is when Esau says to his father, he's crying, he's hysterical, and he said, bless me too, Father. And the father replies, your brother came with guile and took away your blessing. It's like, it's okay to cheat. I'm just troubled with that. I don't have an answer or anything. It just reemphasizes what you had said about the stiletto to the heart. That the acceptance with them listening to others. Sometimes, as a parent, thinking of giving something to one child and the other one finds it incredibly unfair, but they don't see it. Maybe the wisdom of the parent at that time realizes it's for the better, and the child doesn't know it. You had said earlier, Elizabeth, later on you see the wisdom in it. There's a wisdom that comes out later in growth, that it won't be apparent to you now of what I've done. It looks horrible, but over time it might. You have no answer. I don't know. But it's extremely painful to do that.
Yeah, this is it's a painful. Yeah.
I remember. I don't remember if my mother, it may have been a series of a year, but I remember at one point my mother said, I don't know how I can love anybody as much as I just either or just about enough, or just as had him. And she said afterwards, I love Johnny just as much. I know that Josh and, but at first you could see how she would ever love this grandchild as much as she loved this grandchild. And then she just a lot.
And that's what I love about the Kushner book, right? Which is that we live in this world where we're taught like resources are scarce. Like this is what economics is, right? It's the allocation of scarce resources. But we make such a terrible mistake when we think of love that same way, right? The love is different. The love, the more we give, the more there is to give, which is counterintuitive because everything else in our culture is like, okay, the more you give, the less you have, right? It's very counterintuitive. Right?
I think it's interesting with the hot there is this passage about the almost worthlessness of an offering made has fraud inherent in it.
Right.
But at the same time, we're still condemning Esau more than the original passage. So,
Right.
so the reason why we maybe should rethink Esau is there in the Haftarah.
Right.
We're emphasizing his evil.
Absolutely. And I'll note one thing. It seems, Fran, maybe this speaks to your piece. Torah doesn't explicitly condemn Rebecca and Jacob for this deception. I mean, what is unequivocally a deception, right? But Torah is a subtle book, and it does condemn it. It just doesn't say, don't deceive like Jacob. It says it through the story that unfolds, right? We see that Jacob, who gets this blessing through deception, is again and again through his life tragically deceived, right? I mean, he's deceived by Lavan when he wants to marry, Rachel, and he's deceived into, and then he's deceived by his sons who bring Joseph's coat, saying he's dead. So Torah does say that, the cost of deception is terrible. It just says it through the narrative rather than through an explicit statement, not done.
All literature does that.
Right.
The reality is what you feel after you have read it, and what the writer has made you, the reader, feel. I tried to hear everything everybody said, but what Fran said really spoke to me. Because I have friends, and the two sisters, and the parent made one the executor for themselves. I think you only have one, if I'm not mistaken. And it made total sense for various reasons. It would have been crazy to reach the other one, the executor. And the other one was furious for that, of that. So sometimes, there are always occasions that somebody has to be chosen. And only really angels will accept this without being angry. Sometimes.
Yeah. And that would be the last one.
Well, here's something else that puzzles me. As he says, Isaac says to Esau, I don't have not even one blessing that was denied. And then Esau wept aloud. So it must have been very, very painful.
Yeah.
So so how would you express Esau's feelings, in your opinion? How would it feel? How would you express it?
So I'll just say this, Paul. The next thing we have, the next scene right after this, which is the very end of the portion, is Esau saying, when I see Jacob, I'm going to kill him.
That's right.
And Isaac and Rebekah say, get out of town. And there's something true to that to me, which is the wound, the hurt turns to anger. Like that's how the inward hurt is translated externally as anger, right? And that's like part of the depth of the tragedy of this, of this way of thinking, right? It's the zero-sum game, right? For one person to win, another person has to lose. That thinking will never lead to anything but tragedy. I mean, it just is, it's tragic on every level. Because the one who loses gets angry, right? First they're hurt, and then they're angry. And, what follows is just never good. Okay, Debbie, you get the,
It was just thought about executives as well.
okay.
We need, for all the want, it's no offense to the mathematician and the computer science, but the lawyer is the executive.
It's not such a thrill to be the executive.
Says the lawyer. Yeah, that's true. I mean, I guess I'll just say, the thing with the executor, it can be an example of not this one is more loved than this one. It may just be an example of the instance of to love equally doesn't mean to love the same in every way. Like my sister's the executor of my mother's estate, and couldn't be more grateful. She's a lawyer, and I don't want her to be the executor of the estate. She knows how to do it, and it's okay because I know she'll do it fairly. Right? It would not be okay if I knew she was going to use her power to take. Then it's not okay. But difference isn't necessarily a problem. It's what it translates into. But boy, in this case, it is a tragedy, and I just think that we need to hear Esau's weeping. That's a thing we need to hold with us, and we need to hear. We need to think about it in all kinds of situations. It's a powerful, powerful one. Concluding portion of the service. Page 203 back in the Siddur. Yikadal Yikadash Shemei Rabba V'Yamad Rekordim V'Chmapotei V'Chayei Chono V'Yomechel V'Chayei L'Chobei Yisrael V'Adalah V'Zman V'Yimru Amen Yehei Shmei Rabba Nevorah Ve'olam Ome'amaya Yitvarach Baruch Shabbat Baruch Shemai Yitnaseh V'Kadak Nilo V'Dolah Shemei V'Tud Shaber V'Yikum Ve'Elami Gober Chatav Shiratat V'Chatav V'Zayam Amen. V'Kavotzo V'Rvon Kol Yisrael V'Damav V'Shmei V'Yimru Amen. V'Shalom Rabba V'Shemai V'Chaim Alim V'Kol Yisrael V'Yimru Amen. Osei Shalom V'Yimruma V'Yasei Shalom Alim V'Kol Yisrael V'Yimru Amen. Elohim, page 204.
God is not here to help the people.
I was in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Filling in for the role of Chava this morning.
Isn't it? I'm gonna leave town, so I'm gonna take advantage of
we rise as able to roll. Language page 200 and Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon l'kol l'tekedu l'yotzer breshit shelo asanu k'vei haratzon v'lo samanu k'mishpachot Adam shelo sam kalpenu kahem v'gor aleinu k'chol hamonam v'anachnu korim u'mishtabim horim לפני הלב והחכים הקדוש ברוך הוא שהוא בשמיים ויוסר הארץ כמו שנקרא בשמיים ממעל ושתי עתוזו בגופן מרומים ואלוהינו אלוהינו נפשו הכל הכתוב בתורתו ידעת היום עד שכות אלוהיך כי אדוני הוא האלוהים השמיים ממעל הארץ מפחד אינו יום מלכות שלך היא לא מעט תמלוך בכבוד, ככתוב בתורתך ונעים מלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו Remember those of our congregation, community, family, friends, those who have died at this season in years past, those we hold in our hearts closely. I invite anyone who has names of people you are holding in prayers for time on the Shabbat.
Tony Corona and Ruby Williamson.
Arrive safe and arrive Nendo. These are for all that we hold in our hearts, anyway, the mourners and those whose custom it is to rise for Kaddish, page 207. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbi. Yalma divrak yiratei v'yamlich malchutei. V'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei v'kol beit Yisrael. Ba'adalav v'zman kariv v'yamru amin. Yehei shmei Rabba v'orach ve'olam v'me'omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yitolam v'yitnaseh. Yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei kudsha v'richu. Ve'elam mikol birkata v'shirata. Kuzrachata v'nechmata. Kamiran v'yamah v'yamru amin. Yehei shalom v'rava min Shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'yokol Yisrael v'yamru amin. V'osei shalom v'yamruma v'yasei shalom aleinu v'yokol Yisrael v'yamru amin. May the Lord makes peace on high, let peace descend on us and all Israel and all the world. And let us say, Amen. Seated. I want to welcome our guests. Jesse, good to have you back, and John, good to have you back. Visitors, people want to tell us who you are and what brings you here?
So I'm Nancy, and I'm a high schooler. I go to West High, and I have a religion project where I research questions my eldest class speaker and survey. But in the end, I'm trying to leave about it. So thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming. Thank you to Eddie for setup, and if you are joining us online, you can hear because of him. And thank you to Sandy and Lee and Jesse. Did I get everybody to the music? Thanks everybody for the music. And we'll close. We're going to close with a note along page 625. Oh, 625 in the other book, not 625 in this book. 211. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.